Hi everyone, in this video I want to cover a little bit of the big picture of Ethereum because there is a lot of everybody is bullish now on Ethereum on X. Wherever I look around, everybody is suddenly bullish. Why do you think I created this package? I created this package because I'm invested in Ethereum heavily, and while I'm doing a lot of research, deep research, to make sure that I gain from my investment, I thought, well, let me share that package with other people as well. That is why I got this package. If I were bearish for Ethereum, I wouldn't have created the Ethereum package. But suddenly now everybody is bullish. Oh, they expect big things. That will be the new currency for the next 5 years, and it's getting way too much. We have to remain sane. The most important is to know the cycles and just remain sane. So I'm gonna take you now through the cycles here for the near future so that you know what to expect. So this month, yesterday I forecasted a red closure, and I gave you my reasons for July. Is it possible that it will close on a green? Yes, it is possible. And the main reason why it is possible to close on a green, because we have a 5-year cycle in Chinese astrology. And according to the 5-year cycle, we should be repeating some of the patterns that happened in 2020. Right? So let's have a look what happened in 2020. This is January 2020. It closed on a green. 2025, it closed on a red. February 2020 closed on a green. 2025 closed on a red. March 2020 closed on a red, closed on a red. April 2020 closed on a green, and here it closed on a red in 2025. May 2020 closed on a green, finally. So far two similarities, right? The March was in both years closed on a red, and in April in both years closed on a green. Then June closed on a red, similarity number 3. But this is 3 similarities in the first 6 months. It's not a lot. And then July was very bullish for Ethereum in 2020. It was mega bullish. And then the rest, I have forecasted it all bullish for Ethereum. August, September, October, November. I've got it all forecasted, all of those time frames, monthly time frames, I've got them as green. I do reserve the right to change, but I change only 15 days into the month I'm allowed to change. That's my rule. It's not fair to change after that. And in 2020, only 1 month in the second half of the year closed on a red. Everything else closed on a green. Now, if you want to know why 2025 didn't perform as bullish as 2020, I can explain to you. Because the rat is ran water, young water. One reason. And second reason, because metal is the wealth element of Ethereum. So let me show you here. This is Ethereum here. The day pillar always represents the entity. So the day master is fire, female fire as well, ding. So the wealth element is the male metal. And that was exactly what 2020 was. It was the male rat. And the rat is ran water, male water, the young water. So that combination was very bullish for Ethereum. And for that reason, in the first half of 2020, we got a lot more green closures than in the first half of 2025. We got 4 out of 6 green closures in the first half, and in 2025 we got only one green closure. Why is that? Because of the wood in the year. The wood in the year is not doing anything for Ethereum because Ethereum was born in a wood year. And I have explained to those of you who have the personal financial forecast is that when we get our own element, it just clashes with us. It's not offering us anything, and it creates a lot of competition as well. So the wood snake, the wood element of the snake is clashing with the wood of Ethereum. It's creating competition and it's tough. It's not as easy as what it was in 2020. In 2020, both the element and the year were very favorable for Ethereum. However, the snake is very favorable for Ethereum this year because the snake is a sky horse for Ethereum. Here it is. And that was the main reason why I went in Ethereum heavily. Most of my investments are in Ethereum this year. So because of this, because of the sky horse represents highest ambitions. And you don't wait for a perfect forecast like Ethereum is not going to get another rain water for some time. So that is why I jumped on this opportunity to invest in Ethereum based on the sky horse. And I'm fully aware that this wood is clashing here with the year. However, the wood is also a support element for the day master. The day master is fire and the wood is supporting it. So although the wood of the snake is clashing with 2015 wood of Ethereum, day yearly pillar, it's also a support element for the day master. So it's not bad. It's just not as good as the wealth element. The support element is also good, but not as good as the wealth element. What we got in 2020, that male metal is exactly the wealth element of Ethereum, right? So bearing this in mind, that this year we cannot expect to be as bullish as 2020. At the same time, we're reasonable to expect similar performance because of the 5-year cycle. So what I did is I went to 2020 and I got a fractal day starting from 1st of June, 1 month back, just to see if there is a similarity in the trend line for June. A little bit of backtesting, 1 month of backtesting to see what is the similarity in the trend line, and it's looking pretty good. The dark orange color is that trend line from 2020. Let me just change the color actually because it's confusing me thinking that it's an eclipse fractal. So here it is. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. Like this pump here on the 11th of June, you can see in 2020, again it pumped on the 11th of June. It made the bottom in 2020, it made the bottom here though. Oh, no. It made the bottom on 21st of June in 2020. And in 2025, it made the bottom on 22nd of June, just 1 day difference. But the top was the same. The Chinese cycle is very powerful. I'm the only person in the world actually of forecasting finance that I actually use the Chinese cycles. Nobody else is using them. This is my discovery. You can see here it's only 1 day earlier. Let me just move this so you can see it. Okay, it makes a bottom here on the 15th, which is not accurate for 2025, but then the next bottom is on the 21st, and we made the bottom on the 22nd. Then in July, it's not taking exactly like a duck to water in 2020. And the reason for this is becoming too much water. You know, July 2020 was exactly the same as July 2025. It was female water, which is not Ethereum. It's not a good element for Ethereum, the yin water. So it was actually performing worse. It went down. And this year, Ethereum actually is performing much better in July so far than actually in July 2025. You see here we're making a top now. Actually, we don't know if it's performing better because all of these early tops, they're not bullish at all. They're actually bearish. So Ethereum at the moment, according to my fractals, is heading for a top. Whereas in 2025, it made a bottom on the 16th of July. Right, and then from the 16th of July, it took up a few days of just normal green candles, and then from the 21st of July, it started pumping in 2025. So I'm presenting this fractal to you because it is possible. We're on the 5-year time frames are very important because the cycle of the monthly time frames is exactly 5 years. Let me just show you here. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong chart. So the cycle of the monthly time frame, so this is July. In 2020, it was in water in 2020. And the next time when you get in water is 5 years later. That is why we have a 5-year cycle in Chinese astrology. Here it is in 2025. So we're perfectly reasonable to keep this fractal in mind, and not only in mind, but keeping it here in front of our eyes, so we can be comparing the price action of Ethereum this year with this fractal, because you can see they're not that different. The trend line back tested from June is not that different. Only here it is diverging. On the 11th of July this year, Ethereum decided to go up. So there is a bit of a divergence here. Up until then, it was quite similar in June. It was very similar in June. So we're keeping it, and we're gonna keep an eye on it to see how it is, how the price action now is progressing. Because the snake is also a good year for Ethereum, being a sky horse for Ethereum. So this is what I wanted to share with you for this year, that it is possible. This trend line is very possible for Ethereum. And at the moment, we're just playing one day at a time. Let's see whether Ethereum is going to make a top on the 16th or 17th of July. And we'll take it from there. I'm providing regular updates these days, so we don't need to stretch ourselves to provide update very far into the future. I just wanted to cover another important bit of information about Ethereum. People are now saying, oh, Ethereum is going to be now the new currency for the next 5 years or something like that. Well, no, actually, it's not like that. Because, I'm sorry, I just keep going in the wrong chart. It's not going to be like that because we're heading in, next year will be the year of the horse, and it will be the fire horse. And the fire element is enemy for Ethereum. Ethereum is the day master of Ethereum is fire. So fire is an enemy to Ethereum. It's got nothing to offer it. And here, especially on a yearly time frame, it's a very big, the fire is an enemy to the wood. On top of that, the horse is illness for Ethereum. The horse is illness for Ethereum. So 2026 is expected to be a bearish year for Ethereum, and I'm being totally neutral, and not because it's bearish for Bitcoin, not for that reason. It's bearish for Ethereum, especially when Ethereum reaches age 11 on the 30th of July next year. The minute it enters age 11, it starts being bearish. Age 11 is a bearish year. This is the year before the Jupiter year. The Jupiter year is 12, age 12. Age 11 is a bearish year. So Ethereum is expected to dump quite hard in 2026, all the way until 30th of July 2027. Once Ethereum reaches age 12 on 30th of July 2027, it will start going up, but not before then. And the last thing I wanted to cover in this video is that age on 30th of July 2025, only 14 days from now, Ethereum is reaching age 10, and we expect now that Ethereum now being 1 year older, it will start pulling away from his mom and he will start being more independent. So we can expect after the 30th of July 2025, Ethereum to start performing more independently from Bitcoin. Not entirely independently, but more independently than what we have seen so far. So this is what I wanted to share with you in this video.